Yo, I am finally back after months of not uploading. Hundreds of viewers have been waiting for this desperately. The audience is crazy. I couldn't take it. I had to come back. And today I'm going to be making a video on my thoughts of the MW2 beta, because a lot has happened since Apex Legends. I've come off mouse and keyboard, I've gone to controller, which is a madness, and now I'm sweating out COD. Coming back to my roots, because I used to use controller all the time when I was young. I stopped using it about 2 years ago. So I've come back. I'm going to be using controller now. I'm enjoying it a lot. So MW2 is going to be my new game for now. But obviously a month of content, it's going to be dry because we have to wait a whole month for the game to come out. So now I'm just sat here twiddling my thumbs. Can't be asked to play Vanguard because there's just no point. But yeah, so let's get to it. My overall thoughts on the beta, I thought it was really good. I would say first day of me playing it was dreadful. I hated it. I didn't want to play it, but I kept playing, and I'll get to exactly why I really enjoyed my last day on the game. They've improved a lot since MW 2019, I'll say that. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the bad things, because it's always good to start off on the bad things, because the game is, I think, mostly got a lot of hate, especially. I'd say a good chunk of the community do not like the game at the moment, and I'm hoping for a lot of fixes, which I did agree with a lot of the opinions at the start when I was playing. So first things first is the guns. Majority of them are so slow. I think the big issue as to why there are lots of campers in the game and why everyone just like pre-aims corners and waits for you to jump round and all that sort of stuff is because of just how sluggish and slow the guns are. And obviously it is the beta, so there's going to be plenty more guns coming out, but in the beta there were only 2 SMGs. Like, that is crazy. Battle rifles, which are literally just like basically just marksman rifles that can go full auto. I think it's a pretty pointless gun because they're basically marksman rifles that can go full auto, so I just don't think there's need for them. But they are very slow. The ARs were okay, I'll admit. They were okay. They weren't too bad with no attachments on. But yeah, most of the guns, very slow. They definitely promoted camping. I did find that at the start I was trying to rush because Vanguard's quite a fast-paced game, so I sort of carried my playstyle over to beta and I was rushing quite a lot, and it just wasn't working out, and that was why I was hating the game so much. And eventually I had to change my playstyle, and I started just like taking it a lot more easily, like playing more passive, just like basically just pre-aiming a lot and not really tactical sprinting around the map as much, because I knew that if I got caught tactical sprinting, the game was over. I was dead. It was that bad. Which then takes me on to my second point, is attachments. Now, a lot of the attachments were so bad. I don't like how they've made it so that you can have accuracy but at the cost of mobility. So you can have a really accurate no recoil gun, which is very important for this game because the weapon kick is insane and the visual recoil is crazy. Like, you're desperate for those attachments that make the gun easier to shoot and aim with, but then at the same time you're so slow. Like, your ADSing is slow, your tactical sprint to aim speed is ridiculous, so if you get caught sprinting you're basically dead. And that is why I didn't really agree with the attachments, because then the attachments, obviously vice versa, you had attachments that let you run around, increase ADS speed, but then you had reduced recoil, so it was like really hard to make a decent class of all the ARs. It just wasn't good. Yeah, and also the cons were outweighing the pros a lot. Like, I would see 2 improvements in the pro section for an attachment and then like 4 negatives for some of them. Like, it was outrageous. So I'm really hoping that they balance out the attachments a bit and make them more just work well together, so it's a lot easier time building a good class. But yeah, and I'm not talking about the SMGs just yet because they are part of the good section, which is why I'm going to save that for last, because this is what changed my mind. Like, getting onto the SMGs, like the MP5 especially, was insane. So I'll talk about that later in the video. My next point will be footsteps. So footsteps, they were outrageous. I'm pretty sure they were really bad when it came out on PS4 or PlayStation version first. I think they might have patched them as of the Xbox and PC release, so we didn't have it as bad as the PlayStation players, which is good, but they were still really bad. Like, I had multiple times where someone would just 180 and aim at a corner, or I'd be running around a corner and they would just know I'm there and just wait for me, which just wasn't. Yeah, I think that was also why it was so hard to run around in this game and be aggressive, because the footsteps are just so directionally accurate. Yeah, hopefully, I think they will definitely nerf the footsteps. If they don't, it's not going to be good on the release, but hopefully they do make changes. Also, part of this dead silence was awful. The dead silence they really need to fix. It was so, like, I realized on the Reddit that they were posting stuff, and dead silence makes a noise when you activate it. That is ridiculous. that completely ruins the whole point of the perk, making it useless. There were definitely times in the beta, it didn't happen to me personally when activating Dead Silence, but I would literally hear somebody activate it on the other side of the building, and I would just know that they were going to flank from behind, so I just waited for them to come and got a free kill. It was really bad. Luckily, I didn't have anything wrong with using it, and I was okay, but there were moments where I was just knowing where a player was going to come from because of that perk, and it was completely ruining their position and literally letting me know where they were. So Dead Silence definitely needs nerfs. Also, the activation time. I don't know why bringing out a square box and pressing a button makes you completely silent. It doesn't make any sense. It's like they've tried to sort of nerf the perk a little and make it make more sense, but it just doesn't work. I think they do need to get rid of that. I think they just need to return it. MW 2019, that Dead Silence was amazing. Like, you obviously press the 2 buttons, instantly usable. It's just a lot better. Now that we've got that out of the way, the next point I'm on about is the gun mastery tree, which is where obviously you unlock one gun, and to unlock a next gun, you have to max that gun out or get it to a certain level to unlock the new one. Now, I didn't think that they most likely will change it in the full release of COD, but in the beta, it was really not that good. You start with the M4, that was probably one of the best ARs that you could actually put attachments on, so that wasn't too bad, but then, like, to get to the MP5 or the Hurricane, you had to max out, like, 2 ARs or battle rifles or LMGs, and it was just ridiculous. So you were sort of forced to play that passive, like, not rush too much play style to be able to get to the fun aggressive play style, which I didn't really agree with. I think what they should do in the new COD is just make every tree separate. So if you want, you should have like an aggressive tree playstyle, a campy tree playstyle. So if you want to unlock those aggressive guns that are better, you can then use that aggressive playstyle to unlock the guns that are in that sort of playstyle. So obviously with the aggressive playstyle being maybe some lightweight ARs and mostly SMGs, I think that would work really well. I really don't agree with having to unlock, like with the MP5 for instance, you had to get to level 17 to unlock the Lockman battle rifle, which was such an awful sluggish gun. Get that maxed out, then unlock the Lockman AR, which wasn't too bad, I'll admit, but obviously it's not one of the fastest guns, so you had to then max that out to then get to the MP5 to use that gun and finally play aggressively. Which, yeah, so hopefully they bring changes to the mastery tree. I really hope they do fix that, because that was what made the beta for the first day just not fun at all, because I was forced to play slow and like conserved, and I did not like it at all. So, geez, I feel like I'm just ripping into this game even though I enjoyed it so much. It doesn't feel right. Next one is the perk system. Now, the perk system, I actually thought this was not considered bad among the community, but I think just pointless with the whole progressive thing where you earn the perks throughout the game. The only issue that I found that was made it completely pointless is, so obviously the perk system, you earn perks progressively throughout the game. It's on a timer, but if you get kills, it reduces that timer, so you earn them quickly, which is good. Basically, you get rewarded for getting a lot of kills in the early stages of the game. In the end, I thought was pointless, because let's say you get loads of kills, you're dominating the game, and you have Ghost as your last perk, you then unlock Ghost, but if you're already beating that like team really well, they're most likely not going to have a UAV to use that score streak on you. So it becomes almost pointless, because if you're getting all these kills and your team's doing really well and exceeding among the other team, they're not going to be getting score streaks, so your perks are useless anyway. They may get one late game, but the odds are quite low. That's why I don't think the perk system works that well, because obviously, you have Ghost because you've got all these kills early game, but then they won't even have anything to make that perk useful. It becomes pointless, which is why I don't think it's that good. It works sort of, but not that well. I think it's not needed at all. I don't really see the point, especially if you can earn your last final perk within 3 or 4 minutes of playing the match. They decrease the timer a lot in the second half of the beta in the week 2, so I don't think it's that like useful. Like, I don't see the point. Like, the reason why I put this in the bad section is because it was good overall. The perks were good. I'm obviously, everyone's sad that there's no Dead Silence. That was a very good perk back in MW3. Yeah, Dead Silence, I definitely think there should be a perk, which shouldn't, I don't think, silent footsteps, but make them a lot quieter. So maybe if you're in that one situation where someone is on like the other side of a wall literally next to you, you can still maybe hear them a little bit, so you have a like somewhat of a chance. I think that would be good, but I definitely want to see the perk come. It probably won't, but you know, we just gotta hope at this rate. The perks were very good. Overall, they're amazing. The main perks that I used were EOD, Fast Hands, and Ghost. I didn't really use Battle Hardened that much, but I heard that it was apparently pointless, which is also related to this one thing that I don't think has been talked about as much out of all the review videos I've watched, is the explosive radius of grenades. Every time you get hit by a grenade, you're almost dead. So EOD just stops you from dying, but you're still one shot, so you're already dead anyway, which leads me on to the explosive radius, which I don't think has been talked about that much within the COD community. I haven't really seen any points made on this. Grenades, anything basically with an explosive radius, puts you on one hit with EOD no matter how far away you are from it. Because I remember if you were like basically on the outer parts of an explosive radius in previous CODs, you would get literally tapped by it and maybe slow down a little, but you wouldn't die and you wouldn't lose a lot of health. In this game, if you are anywhere in the explosive radius, you either die if you don't have EOD, whereas if you have EOD, you get put on one hit, which I thought was crazy, which I think is a bit overpowered. I think it's pretty bad, but I don't think it's been mentioned that much, so I don't think it'll be that awful, but that's just one thing for me, where obviously grenades, if you're anywhere in that explosive radius, you either die or you get put down to one hit with EOD, whereas originally you would just lose a little bit of health, but you'd still be able to play the game because you're able to get out of that explosive radius. So I think that definitely needs to be a little bit worked on. Otherwise, everyone's going to be running EOD all the time, and it's going to make explosives just pointless to use. But yeah, so there we go. That is all the bad things that I have, like all the cons of this game, and that I think they should work on. I think they weren't too bad, but I think a lot of these aren't as bad as they seem when I get to the good points, which is what made the game so much enjoyable for me. Now, for the good things, the MP5, the Lachlan SMG, the Lachlan sub was insane. I was hating this game up until the point where I unlocked the MP5. It was so much more enjoyable. It was so fast. The ADS, the amount of attack sprint time you had, how fast you can move, it made the game so much more enjoyable. I could finally get back to that aggressive playstyle that I enjoyed from Vanguard and start playing again. I was just annihilating lobbies. I was doing so much more better. I was enjoying the game so much more. I could then run around the map, get kills a lot easily, and it was a lot more enjoyable. So that is what made the game a lot more better for me. And I think me unlocking the MP5 and being able to run around and play aggressively really simmered down a lot of the negative things about this game and didn't make them seem as worse, which is what I enjoyed a lot. So the MP5 was amazing. The attachments were good on the MP5 as well. I was able to unlock loads of attachments that increased ADS time and stuff. So I think what they're trying to probably go for is have a lot of the ADS attachments on SMGs, so then you can then put them on your ARs, which makes them faster, which I think would be like, hopefully that is the case, and that can then make ARs, you can then play more aggressive with ARs, LMGs, battle rifles, etc., and be able to run around the map and make the game more forgiving for obviously getting caught off guard, because then you can react in time. Like the MP5 is honestly cracked. Like the DPS. Oh yeah, time to kill in this game really fast. It's outrageous. Like with the MP5, the time to kill, if you had an AR, any other gun but the MP5 at close range, you were dead. Like that, I was finally finding. So like on my first couple games of the MP5, it was mostly AR lobbies, and I was just annihilating everyone. The game just wasn't fair because of the time to kill. But once I was then getting into lobbies with people who were using the MP5, the game then felt a lot more balanced, and a lot of the 1v1s I was having at close range where I would die, basically a 50-50, I would die sometimes, but then I'd also get the kills. But yeah, the MP5 made the game insanely more enjoyable, and I think that's probably the reason why a lot of the community didn't enjoy the game, was because to get to the MP5, you did have to get to level 17, unlock the Lachman battle rifle, then max that gun out, unlock the Lachman AR, then max that gun out, then unlock the MP5, so it was a bit of a grind to get to that enjoyable play style, which is why I think a lot of people probably didn't enjoy the game, couldn't be asked to play it, and then therefore didn't unlock the MP5, because there's just like, what's the point? They're not enjoying the game anyway. There's no motive to keep them playing. So that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of the people hate the beta, whereas I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously the first half was living hell, but then after that it was really good, and hopefully if they keep the MP5 in the game, then I'm going to enjoy the start of the game very, very much. So yeah, that cleans up a lot of things. That made the game overall more enjoyable for me. Now, next up is the maps. Now, the maps I thought were amazing. All of them but Museum, which definitely needs the same treatment as Miami and Black Ops Cold War. The outskirts of the map need to be removed. I think the outside parts of the map are pointless. And I think a lot of it's just too big. Like, I don't think it's a good map. It should be like an 8v8 or 10v10 map because of how huge it is. I think then it'd be very enjoyable and a lot more fast paced. I was playing Dom some games, and people weren't even surpassing 25 kills sometimes. It was that slow, like it just didn't work. But apart from that, all the other maps, sorry, were very good. They were very, very good. And I hope they keep them like that. Like the massive improvement from MW 2019, they were amazing. So I hope they keep that consistent with the other maps that are to come out in the full game. And then next up is equipment. Now, I really enjoyed the equipment. I like how they've gone for this new sort of tactical set of equipment. It definitely feels like a Rainbow Six Siege update with the inflatable camera and the drill charge, but which I do think is a good thing because it will make games S&D a lot more tactical and just have more to worry about and make them a lot more in-depth, I guess, because I definitely enjoyed it at Rainbow Six Siege back in the day. So, and I'm looking forward to that S&D games and hopefully making the equipment useful and hoping it works. The drill charge, absolutely amazing. I think it's one of the best explosives they brought into the game. It's really good for getting out people of corners, especially in this game where the time to kill is ridiculous. So if someone's in a corner waiting for you, you are most likely going to die. So you can really just like distract them, and if they're in the corner, throw the drill charge on the opposite side of the wall, and then obviously it'll blow up the other side. So then they then have to get out of that room whilst making sure to take you out at the same time. So it makes their time a lot harder and gives you more of a chance of survival and killing them, which I think is really good. And this equipment was very useful in Hardpoint. Now, I played Hardpoint a lot in this game just because the other game modes were so slow. In Domination, people couldn't even break, like it was rare to see someone break 30 kills. I played Hardpoint for almost all the time the beta was out, and people were getting 50 kills almost every game, so the game was a lot more enjoyable. And the drill charge was just amazing for that mode where there were objectives inside buildings. Obviously, in this game, people were just superior because they could just sit in the building and wait there. But the drill charge was amazing. Like there was this one play, I'll try and find it in this video, where I was able to throw a drill charge at the room and then just watch the doorway. So they jumped out and I got a free kill from that, it's just a great way for clearing out rats and corner campers. So there we go. That is my overall thoughts on the beta. I really enjoyed it. Obviously a lot of the community didn't, but that's why I'm making this video, because I want to sort of give my opinions on the game, because I'm really starting to enjoy COD again. So that's going to be my main content as of now. This next month will probably be dry for content, I'm not gonna lie, because I just don't know what to play. Like this next month's gonna be awful, especially with the release of FIFA. If you're one of those people who has a lot of football friends who just love their FIFA, I'm that current person right now where everyone I know on Xbox and etc. is just sweating out FIFA because it's come out after the end of the beta. So now I'm here just twiddling my thumbs with nothing to play whilst everyone's just grinding out FIFA, and I just wish that the game could come out earlier, but it's not. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this video does well, considering it's my first video in a long time. I'm going to be uploading a lot more consistently now. I'm going to try to be uploading TikTok, so check my TikTok for that. And thank you for watching. See you guys.